Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. Scrapbook.com just released some new products. There's pattern paper, stamps, and dies. This is a beautiful collection, perfect for springtime or cards year-round. They have a new pattern paper collection called Bouquet. It's available in both the A2 and 6x8 size. The paper collection includes 40 sheets, 5 sheets of each pattern. So you have lots of gorgeous papers to select from. Look at all these beautiful floral designs. On the back side, there are several solid colors that match the paper collection beautifully. There's a bright pink, orange, blue, and also a purple solid. And Scrapbook.com's pattern paper is a nice heavyweight, 230 GSM. I love that they offer their paper pads in both the 6x8 and A2 sizes. Here's a look at the new Blooming Sentiment stamp set, and there are coordinating dies. It's so nice that they include a die to go around not just the images, but also every single sentiment. And the sentiments on this set are perfect to use throughout the year. I'll also be using the new Build a Bouquet shape die set. This is really fun, lots of different floral and foliage picks, plus the little paper that you can wrap around your bouquet, add a sentiment. It has thanks and hello, and also for you. So those are the main products I'll be using for my cards, and I have 5 different card designs to share. For card design number 1, I am using a card sketch for inspiration. This sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. It's number 668. And if you're interested in any of the sketches I use in this video, including measurements, I share all of that information on my coordinating blog post. The link is in the description box below, or you can simply head over to KristieMarcotte.com. For the background of my card, I selected the lovely pink floral paper. For the 3 strips on the left side, for the very narrow strip, I'm using the purple solid, then I have the green tone-on-tone, and a light pink polka dot. I'm layering the green and purple strips on some white cardstock, then I'll add the pink strip underneath. The adhesive I'm using is Scrapbook.com's Deluxe adhesive roller. Now I'll layer the pink pattern paper on some of the purple solid. The pink floral paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and the purple solid layer is an additional 1/8 of an inch. So 4 1/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And my card base is A2 size, so you'll see 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. I use white cardstock and a stitch circle die from Sunny Studio. This is where I'll be adding the sentiment. Before adhering it down, I am putting some scrap cardstock pieces on the right side of the circle. That way it stays at the same level. And I'll adhere it in place using Barely Art Glue. For a sentiment, I've already stamped and cut this out. Bloom bravely, grow graciously, flourish fiercely. And I use Catherine Pooler's Royal Treatment ink color. I'll put glue on the back and adhere this sentiment on the circle. Using a small scrap piece of the purple solid pattern paper, I'll cut a banner. First cut a fishtail on the bottom, then I'll cut the right side in slightly at an angle. Do the same thing on the other side. I'll adhere the banner in the upper right-hand corner. For a little extra detail around the sentiment and on the circle, I'm using the Twinkle stamp images. There are 2 different sets. One has 3 little images and the other has 2. I'll add the 3 twinkle image on the left side and the 2 twinkle image on the right side. And the ink color I'm using is Spun Sugar Distress Oxide. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 2, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 670. Along with the Bouquet pattern paper, I'm also using some of Scrapbook.com's smooth cardstock paper pads. I have Vacation and also Sprinkles. The light pink color I'm using for the very background is from the Sprinkles collection, and this dark green color I'm layering the floral paper on is from the Vacation collection. I'll add the floral panel in the center of the pink paper, put adhesive on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. After adhering my card front onto a card base, I'll add the wide strip of the green tone-on-tone paper across the card. And I'm not adding it in the very center, I'm placing it a little bit higher as indicated on the card sketch. Now it's time to assemble some of the beautiful flowers, and all of these dies are included on the Build a Bouquet die set. I put all of the die cuts in the Stack and Sort tray from scrapbook.com. This is the smaller size, and I'm assembling the die cuts on a cut down version of their Project White grip mat. I believe it's originally 12 by 12 inches in size. I used both pattern paper and also smooth cardstock for the flowers and foliage pieces. The lighter green color is from the Floral Smooth cardstock paper pad. I didn't show it earlier, but the green color matches beautifully with the pattern paper background. And I will have all of the products I use in this video linked in the description box below. After attaching the stems to the flowers, I'll flip them over and pop them up using foam dimension from scrapbook.com. I'm using the small foam squares in the 1 millimeter thickness. If you like more dimension, they also offer 2 millimeter and 3 millimeter foam. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment, "Things bloom wherever you are." And I did use 2 different ink colors when stamping the sentiment. I simply masked off the different areas of the sentiment when stamping it. I will pop up this sentiment using more foam dimension. This time I grab the large foam squares. These are also the 1 millimeter thickness. For now, I'm only adding the foam dimension on the right and left side. I want to make sure there's space for the stems of the flowers and foliage pieces. I'll first adhere the leaves foliage pieces, put barely art glue on the back and adhere those down. And I am trimming off the stems if they're too long, since I don't want them poking out the bottom of the sentiment. Once those are in place, I'll add the 3 flowers, remove the release paper from the foam piece, and add barely art glue behind the stem. And if I notice the stems are too long, I'll either snip the ends or just tear them with my fingers. That area will all be covered up with the sentiment. Now I'll put a few more foam dimension pieces at the bottom of the sentiment. And the top center area of the sentiment, I'll add some scrap pattern paper pieces. And the reason I'm adding the scrap cardstock pieces instead of the foam is because there's already all those layers behind it. If I use the foam, that area will lift up slightly, and I want everything at the same level. So there is my finished card, and again, I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 3, the card sketch is from MFT. This is number 286. For the background of my card, I selected this gorgeous orange background with purple, pink, and light yellow flowers. I'm not usually an orange fan, but I think these colors look gorgeous together. For the very narrow strip at the bottom, I used the light pink and polka dot paper. Since it's too narrow for my tape runner, I added a strip of double-sided adhesive tape in the 1/8 inch size. Put that piece down first, and for the wider strip, I used the solid pink pattern paper. Then I'll layer the background on some of the purple solid pattern paper, put adhesive on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 inch of the white card base showing. Now on the card sketch, there's a circle on the right side. I am changing up the design just a little bit. Instead of this circle, I'm adding a flat oval. And I use scrapbook.com's nested stitched flat oval die set. It's brand new, and if it's not available yet, it is in their coming soon section, so you can sign up to be notified as soon as it's in stock. It's also available in the same design without the faux stitching. I cut out several of the leaves, stems, and flowers, and I'll also be adding this lovely glittery purple bow. I'll adhere the leaves and stems down first, but I still need to put together the flowers, add the center to the flower, and also attach the flower onto the stems. Both of the green colors I'm using for the leaves and stems are from the Floral Smooth cardstock paper pad. I have a cut down version of Scrapbook.com's Project Grip Mat, and I'll do all of my gluing here. That way I don't get adhesive all over my workspace mat. I will be popping up both of the flowers using the small foam squares in the 1mm thickness. Remove the release paper, put barely art glue at the bottom of the floral stems, and adhere them in place. Next, I'll add the purple bow, putting glue just behind the knot of the bow. That way the ends can lift up for a little more dimensional look. And I use the rainbow glitter paper from Scrapbook.com. For a sentiment, I've already stamped and cut out "Sending You Strength," and I will pop it up using more foam dimension. I'll remove the release paper and adhere the sentiment on the right side of the lovely floral arrangement. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I love all these gorgeous floral papers in the Bouquet Collection. For card design number 4, the card sketch is from Paper Play Sketches. It's number 17. And this card is for all of my purple fans out there. For the background of my card, I selected the beautiful purple paper with a light yellow with a hint of light purple flowers. For the wide strip on the left side, I have a light purple solid cardstock color, and this is included in the Purples Smooth cardstock paper pad. Scrapbook.com offers a wide variety of smooth cardstock paper pads, so you're sure to find a color that will match the pattern paper. The light tan color for the image panel is from the Vacation Smooth cardstock paper pad. I'll layer that on black cardstock. I think the pop of black adds some really nice contrast on this card. I'll also layer the background floral pattern paper on black cardstock. Put adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. For the small piece on the left side of the card, I used the light pink and polka dot paper, and I did cut a fishtail on the left side. For this card, I'll be assembling the bouquet wrapped in paper. I selected some craft cardstock for that paper wrapping. The die does add the fold mark when you die cut it, so it's super easy to fold. I will use a bone folder to get a sharper crease there. I glued that front flap to the back, but you do have the option of putting some of the stems between those flaps, or you can adhere them all on the back side of that paper wrapping. And I'll be adhering mine on the back side, so I am putting some pieces of clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back side. First, I need to attach some of the flowers to the stems. And I selected different flowers than I've used on the previous cards. I love the wide variety of die cut pieces in this set. Most of my card is purple, but I am adding those little touches of pink. For the round flowers or plants, I'm using the light pink solid. And for the 2 purple flowers, I selected 2 shades of purple cardstock. I'll attach those together, then add the stems in front. And for the pink flowers, I'm putting the stem on the back side. For a sentiment, I'll be adding the Hello pick inside the bouquet, and I'm using the bright pink solid pattern paper. Next, I'll add foam dimension behind all of the flowers, and I will need to cut one of the squares in half to fit behind that smaller purple flower. So now it's time to put all of the foliage and flower pieces inside the paper wrapping. I'll start on the left side, add one of the pink flowers, then put one of the foliage pieces behind it. Trying to add this next flower. Want to make sure those stems line up with the opening at the bottom of the paper wrapping. If they're not cooperating, I'll simply trim off the bottom. I will have a couple of the stems poking through once this bouquet is finished. Now I'll put the purple flower on the right side. When you're building a bouquet from behind, you want to make sure to add the front pieces in first. After adding a few of the stems, I'll put more of the clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back side. And I'll continue adding piece after piece until I'm happy with my lovely floral bouquet. I have just a few more of the foliage pieces to really fill in the design. I'll also be adding one of the bows. There are two different bows on the set. One design I use on the previous card, and this bow is designed to wrap around the bottom of this paper wrapping. I use some of the solid purple pattern paper. I'll put barely art glue on the back and adhere it at the bottom of the bouquet. And the left side of the bow does go off of that paper wrapping. Now I'll attach the bouquet on the card, putting barely art glue on the back, making sure to get enough behind each of the foliage and floral pieces. Then I'll adhere it in place. I forgot to remove some of the foam dimension behind the flowers, so I'll also do that. If I notice any of the die cut pieces lifting up, I'll add a small drop of glue. For embellishments, I'm using Scrapbook.com's Pops of Color. This is the Pearl Soft Pink color. I'll add 2 drops on the left side of the bouquet and 3 on the right side. And I like to flatten my drops. I'll gently tap my card against the edge of a stack and sort tray. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 5, the card sketch is from Cards TV. This is sketch number 34. For the background of my card, I'm using the soft pink color from the Sprinkle Smooth cardstock paper pad. And for that smaller rectangle, I selected this gorgeous floral design. I'll layer it on some solid green cardstock. And this green color is also included in the Sprinkle Smooth cardstock paper pad. I use the same green for the narrow strip that goes across the card and also for the very background layer. I'll put adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base. Next, I'll add the floral panel, and I was trying to decide if it's direction specific. Don't think it really matters. I'll put adhesive on the back and adhere it on the center of the card. Next, I'll add a stitch circle die cut. Use white cardstock, put barely art glue on the back and adhere it on the left side of the floral panel. I've already stamped and cut out the sentiment, "You make life lovely." And I did pop it up using foam dimension. I'll remove the release paper, add the sentiment on the right side of the circle. And I'm adding the sentiment first, that way I can build the floral arrangement around it. I've already cut out several of the flowers and foliage pieces, and just to save time, I've assembled those flowers. Now this time I'm not adding stems behind most of the flowers. I will pop up all of the flowers using more foam dimension. I'll adhere the pink flower down first. Now I'll attach all of the green leafy foliage pieces. And if the stems are a little bit too long, I'll either tear them off or cut them with a pair of scissors. You won't see that end since it will be covered up with the flowers. Now I'll add the 2 orange flowers in the lower left-hand corner. And the final pieces are the round purple flowers. I'll add 1 on the left side and the final one underneath with just part of the floral piece sitting on top of the sentiment. For embellishments, I'm using more of the Pearl Soft Pink Pops of Color. I'll put 3 above the sentiment and 2 in the lower left-hand corner. And to flatten those pearls, I'll gently tap my card against the edge of the stack and sort tray. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Scrapbook.com's brand new Bouquet paper pad, along with some of their new stamp and die sets. This is a gorgeous collection. I had so much fun making all of the cards. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Many of the products I used in this video will be featured in some classes at Scrapbook.com's upcoming SBC Fest this March. For more information about the upcoming SBC Fest, I do have a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.